Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Razi Azim bin Abdul Hafiz. My metric number is 1240697, and today I will present about a case which is Cik Omar bin Cik So against the public prosecutor. The introduction of case Cik Omar bin Cik So against public prosecutor. The applicant Cik Omar bin Cik So was convicted under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drug Act 1952 for drug trafficking. Hence, he was sentenced to death. He contended that the mandatory death penalty is unconstitutional because it violates Islamic principle and also differs from Article 3, Clause 1 of the Federal Constitution, which states that Islam is the religion of the Federation. This case raises seminal issues in Malaysian constitutional law with respect to how far Islam as the federal religion goes in ensuring the secular character of Malaysia's legal system. The court, led by Lord President Tun Saleh Abbas, ruled that although Islam is the religion of the Federation, according to Article 3, Clause 1, does not make Malaysia an Islamic state. Instead, the constitution and legal system remain secular, and laws passed by Parliament are valid even if they do not align with Islamic law. The objective of this case presentation is to explain and review the case of the Omar bin Cik So against public prosecutor, and also to connect this case to the Article 3 Clause 1 and also Article 4 Clause 1. Next, I will explain the facts of the case. Firstly, Cik Omar bin Cik So was charged for drug trafficking under the Dangerous Drug Acts of 1952 in Section 39B. Therefore, he must be sentenced to death since the Act prescribes a mandatory sentence of death for the crime. Next, Cik Omar bin Cik So challenged the death sentence in the court of law on the ground that it was unconstitutional and that such form of sentence contradict with Islamic law. He also argued that according to Islamic law, there is capital punishment only for murder or hirabah, which is armed robbery. Lastly, since Malaysia Federal Constitution under Article 3 Clause 1 declares Islam as the religion of the Federation, he argued that all laws must comply with Islamic principles. The issues of this case is, does Article 3 Clause 1 of the Constitution make Islamic law supreme in Malaysia, requiring all laws to follow Islamic principles? Next, I will explain the law that applicable in this case. Firstly, Article 3 Clause 1 of the Federal Constitution. Islam is the religion of the Federation, but other religions may be practiced in peace and harmony in any part of the Federations. And next is Article 4 Clause 1 of the Federal Constitution. This Constitution is the supreme law of the Federation, and any law passed after Merdeka Day which is inconsistent with this Constitution shall, to the extent of the inconsistency, may be void. This article played a crucial role in this case because it establishes the supremacy of the Constitution as the highest law in Malaysia. In Malaysia, law are secular, and the death penalty under the Dangerous Drug Act is constitutional and not Islamic jurisprudence. Next, I will talk about the judgment of the case. The Federal Court, led by Lord President Tun Saleh Abbas, dismissed Cik Omar bin Cik So appeal and sentence. The court ruled that Article 3 Clause 1, which declare Islam as the religion of the Federation, does not make Malaysia an Islamic state or requires all laws to conform to Islamic principles. Instead, this article only establishes the ceremonial and symbolic role of Islam in Malaysia without affecting the secular nature of the Constitution. Supremacy of the Constitution, Article 4, Clause 1. The court emphasized that the Federal Constitution is the supreme law of the land, as stated in Article 4, Clause 1. It means the court clarified that Malaysia's legal system is secular and not governed by Sharia law, except in specific areas like family law for Muslims. Islamic laws are limited to personal and family matters under state jurisdiction and do not override federal law and passed by Parliament. The Federal Court firmly establishes that Malaysia's legal system is secular and governed by the Federal Constitution, not Islamic law. Article 3 Clause 1 only gives Islam a ceremonial role and does not affect the validity of secular laws. Lastly, the case became a landmark precedent for separating religion and law in Malaysia's constitutional framework. Next, I will talk about the discussion of this case. The case of Cik Omar bin Cik So remains one of Malaysia's most influential legal decisions. It firmly established that Malaysia is a secular state governed by the Federal Constitution, not Islamic law, except in limited areas such as family matters for Muslims. It highlighted the supremacy of Parliament in enacting laws even when they differ from religious principles. It also highlighted the balance of power between religious laws and the secular law. Lastly, it reaffirmed that laws enacted by Parliament are binding, even if they do not comply with Islamic principles. And lastly, the conclusion of this case. The case of Cik Omar bin Cik So against Public Prosecutor confirmed that Malaysia's legal system is secular, despite Islam being the religion of the Federation under Article 3 Clause 1 of the Federal Constitution. The Federal Court ruled that Islamic law does not override secular laws and the death penalty for drug trafficking is valid as it was enacted by Parliament. This case reinforced that the Constitution is supreme under Article 4 Clause 1 and remains a key precedent in defining the role of Islam in Malaysia's legal frameworks. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.